All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope I'm audible and visible. Yeah, you can use the chat box to leave in your, comments and thumbs up and yes. All right, so that we can, be informed that we're good to go. Fantastic. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm super excited to welcome you all to the webinar on campus placements during COVID-19, jointly presented by Nazareth College of Arts and Science and My Online Status in My OS in, an exclusive webinar for training and placement officers. I am called Euchrista, and I'm honored to be coordinating this evening for you all. I would like to take this moment to acknowledge and extend a warm welcome to the principals from various universities and all the other placement officers from various colleges and universities. All right. With COVID-19 having its toll on colleges and students and faculties are finding hard to adapt to the new normal of online teaching and learning system. The Department of Higher Education and various universities are left with no choice but to strongly recommend colleges to use blended approach of education. While students face issues with stable connection, the faculties, on the other hand, are challenged with lack of tech awareness and less equipped with virtual hygiene practices and etiquette. With all these stunting, the student issues of, with students in colleges, the training and placement process for the final year students of 2020 to 2021 batch seems to be near impossible one. When COVID-19 finally disappears, trust me, the corporates would thrust their urgency on the colleges for campus placement drives. Now, the question is, are the colleges prepared for the new normal? On that note, I want to leave you with that question, and there's a quick promo waiting there for you on My OS. Great. I hope you were able to see that, promo. To support you with, the thoughts to the above question that I placed and insights on a global context, as you ponder, I would like to welcome our guest speaker for today, Mr. Eben Emmanuel, Head Talent Management, Australia and New Zealand. So thank you so much, Eben, for joining with us, and I leave the platform to you. All yours.
Thank you, Eucharista. It was a good introduction, and one of the points which Eucharista mentioned was when it is all over, when COVID is over, will universities be ready? Probably I'll pick it up from there. Before this is over, the question would be, are the organizations and the universities ready? So picking up from COVID, yes, COVID has taught a lot of lessons to us, let it be an individual or let it be an organization or a university or different countries. It has taught a lot of lessons. One of the lessons is how quickly we adapt to it, how quickly we change. At this point of time, we see in every organization, globally about 95, close to 100% of employees work from home, which is an adoption overnight for the organization. And it did ask a lot of questions. There's a lot of fear which got instilled. Will there be industries closing down? Will there be people who would lose jobs? Will there be a situation where recession would come? These were the fears which any individual or the organization or the countries right now faced with, and they did face in the beginning of March And some of the countries and some of the organizations have coped up really well. And they've changed their approach. So what we have at this point of time as an organization, there are a lot of new opportunities which are coming up. And specifically, there are organizations which are spending a lot of money to go virtual, to go online on technology. And there are large unexpected deals which are coming through. So in all these challenges of what COVID has posted us, it seems like this has become a new normal opportunity, which this has created for the organizations. So what does that mean? That means there are a lot of opportunities which are there available in the market or which will come shortly, which any individual or the universities or the students should be prepared of. So let me try to give you an insight of what is happening across the globe. I will leave India aside. So across the globe, there are universities which has picked up really well in terms of the new normal. So if I categorize under three different buckets. So one, the universities which has picked up really well, the universities which are equipping themselves at this point of time, and the third one, there are universities which are seeking help from third party. So for all the universities, when I say they have equipped themselves really well, are the universities where they have a very strong platform, which will engage the professors, the university as such, and the students, which means for a student to come in the platform, it is very easy and it makes it really comfortable for the student and the professors to interact. The second category is the set of people or the set of universities which are coping up. When I say that, these universities are trying to build in a platform or trying to get a support from the third party, which will engage the students and the university. Because one of the challenge which you will also understand, is the challenge in terms of engaging with the students. It is not just interacting with the student where the professor gives him the knowledge or the student shares the information. It is engaging. The amount of engagement the university and the students have will increasingly help in terms of the knowledge sharing. So the third category, which I said is unable to more of adapt, they are seeking help, are the set of universities where they are looking at a third-party providers where they provide platform and also help engage. Now, what is happening across when it comes to placements? It used to be a lot of career fairs. For example, in India, I believe there are placement campaigns which tend to happen, which is physical, where student can go and interact with the employer or the employer can interact with the student. Now, it is not possible for the student and also for the employer to go, meet face to face. So there are platforms where virtual career fairs are happening. In India, there's a lot of sessions which tend to happen in terms of campus to corporate and so on. However, at this point of time, unfortunately, without those physical sessions to happen, it could be a lot of challenging. So there are virtual career fair which happens. Let me try to help you understand. If I'm a student, I can log into that career fair. I can tell the preference what I want, what I have studied, and what is my aspiration, and the type of employers whom I want to interact. So when I log into that virtual platform, it will give me an option to select the employer whom I want to interact with. And if I am an employer, when I log in, I can give the criteria in which whom I want to select. So if I am a mechanical company where I take a lot of mechanical students, I can give the preference as mechanical engineer compared to any other student. So if I'm an IT organization, I can select a computer science or information technology student as a preference, and I can go ahead and interact. So these are called as virtual career fairs, which are being promoted, which the organizations are participating, which are being enabled by universities and also the students. On the other hand, there are platforms which organizations have, which students can come and participate, where the organizations can see how students are doing in the universities, and then they can more of interact with them in terms of hiring. The second is in terms of virtual interviews. Now, virtual interviews can be two ways, one synchronous and asynchronous. When I say asynchronous, is like this platform, Zoom platform, where student can log in, employer can log in, do a set of interviews. But unfortunately, in global environment, the time and probably the time zone might not help the employer and the student to log in at the same time. So there is something called as asynchronous interviews. Asynchronous interviews are, again, as an employer, I will have a set of questions which I want to ask any student who logs in or whom I want to hire. So I can post a set of questions in that portal. So if I have to explain it, let me be a student. So I log into this portal. As soon as I log in, it will give a test of if my, welcome Eben, are you ready to take this asynchronous interview? Can you test if you could record it? And after testing, it will pop up the questions in text, or it can give voice. Tell about yourself. You got 2 minutes to explain. And then I can go and record it. And by the same time, it will automatically register in the platform. And it will go on to the next set of questions. And it will give an expectation of 10 minutes or 15 minutes as an interview. And I give the interview. And after completing the interview, the data gets recorded in the system. And for the student has completed the interview. And for the employer can log in any point of time and do the interviews. And there's a lot of knowledge sharing also tend to happen with respect to the virtual platforms. Now, there might be questions, with virtual being the new normal, are organizations ready for it? Yes, there are organizations which are ready to do large hiring through virtual platforms. And they are also ready to do a lot of, huge virtual onboarding. There are also organizations preparing themselves to do that. So in some time, or it has already been started in terms of the demand which is being created because of the new deals and the new opportunities which has come. It is time that everybody gets prepared in terms of the new normal. By the end of COVID or while we have the COVID, we really do not know how long it will go on. But it is very important for us to be prepared to embrace this change of being virtual, and to prepare our students and the universities and the environment which we have to be accustomed to what we have at this point of time, and prepare us so that these platforms, or as universities can build in platforms, or I believe this is also an opportunity where probably they will promote in terms of the platform, which will help interact with students, which will help interact with universities, which will help interact with organizations to get the right talent, right time for the right opportunity. These are the points which I have had. To summarize, there are a lot of opportunities which are available. The organizations are ready to go virtual, hire really big. It is up to the universities to pick themselves in terms of being virtual, prepare the students to be virtual, and to engage with the organizations being virtual. And at the right time, it will help the organizations to pick the right talent and for the students to pick the right organization. And the universities can be the platform to bridge all the opportunities. This is what I thought I would cover. And if there are any questions, I can always pick it up later. Thanks, Eucharista.
Yeah, and I'm Thank you, Eben. Thank you very much. I appreciate the thoughts shared. The most happening recently is about asynchronous learning, and that's what you shared with us. And I'm, indeed for sure, the participants are able to, take away on that big time. Thanks again. The second guest that I would like to introduce, and as well, request the second guest to share. The second guest we have with us right now, Mahesh, Lead Director, HR Talent Acquisition from Access Healthcare India. And he will be sharing his thoughts and insights on, in an Indian context. And before I could request, Mr. Mahesh to share, let's now, watch the My OSN promo. Thank you so much for watching that. And thank you, Mr. Mahesh, for joining us today. I'll leave the platform to you. Can you take over?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. You're able to hear me, right? Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible and we can see you very well.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Hey, hi. Good evening, all. It's a great pleasure having you on this, Zoom meeting. I'm really happy to be part of this team, and and especially very privileged to talk about the placements, because I'm been there for the last 20 plus years, doing a lot of campus across South India and few in North India, and predominantly on the South Indian front. And it has been a great pleasure for me, meeting up a lot of placement officers, principals, correspondents, and especially the students. So I think from that view as such, what we have as a corporate, how this connect happens and all that. Placement officers and principals were the key people for us to actually let the door open and get the talents on. And it is across any institutions. You take it any B schools, IIT, any kind of institutions. If you look at it, we were there, and we always wanted to get the best pick of the people and get in. But for the current situation, we all know things have been changing, and we are getting into a different work culture altogether. And I think from a hiring standpoint, how does COVID affect from a placement standpoint or from a hiring standpoint? How does the talent acquisition function actually functions across the market? Having said that, I've been connecting with all the market, my competitors and other, colleagues of mine, and keep getting an update about how things go about. We are very frequently connected with people, so we know how things have changed. So there has been, corporates taking this as an advantage for, few poor or less performing people to let go, or some corporates letting, them being dropped by their clients. So all these are all, aftershocks which just happens, but that's not going to be a permanent thing, or that's not going to be a long-term thing that, anybody can, anybody should be afraid of. So it is just something that, people are just getting, settled down, and, the way things are moving, it's in a very positive way. There is a lot of, jump back which is going to come in. It is just a spring that has been pressed to its maximum tension. And when it releases, I think you will get, it's going to be 100-fold thing that which is going to come in. So whatever has been waiting for, it's all going to be multiply and just come in. So, so from, probably before getting into some of the statistics, or probably some few informations which I, been picking up from a few, articles, and, I just want to share that as well, just to get the feel of it. Before that, I want also to share about how Access Healthcare or a corporate like us were equipped for this kind of effect. If you look at it, for a simple example, if I happen to say, since April till August 14th, our company has hired more than 970 people plus. So this is just in 3 locations: Pune, Coimbatore, and Chennai. So these were the locations that we hired. And when we started off, we never thought we are going to do so much, and we never thought our clients will actually expand, and we never thought we'll sign new deals. Uh, when we just started off the first day of COVID, settling down, and we were just running about here and there, getting the systems on. If you look at the whole thing around, it was just people were just hanging on to the online devices and tools, and that were the key things that everybody's mind were. And how do I get connected, so whoever got connected and whoever were with the tools and with the required gadgets, and they are surviving, and they go really faster than anybody else. And I likewise, our company as well did that, because as Eben was also saying, the whole engine of talent acquisition has moved itself into an online platform. There has been interviews. What we have been doing, it's all online, completely online. There are interviews that we have a set of interviews which is already put up on our job descriptions, and people just can just finish the initial rounds by answering those questions itself. And from there it goes on to say voice and accent screening, maybe aptitude type questions, a bit of comprehensions, and some few technical things as well. So all this it was a great experience that and we had all entire team of ours into the entire. Yeah, you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but we lost you for a minute though.
Oh, almost for a minute?
Yeah, just for a minute. That's about it.
All right. Okay. Sorry, I don't know where you lost me, but anyway, I'll try to catch up with that. If you have any questions, probably from there I'll catch up. But still, yeah, all right. So I'll just quickly run through with few slides which I have, not to take much time on it. Okay, so I hope you can see my screen. Okay, so as our company has been into big numbers of hiring across this time. So we have also seen few other companies across India, well-known companies who are already into it. And I just thought I'll show you that. Is my screen visible to you? I'm not sure.
It's taking a minute. Yes, you are right there. Yeah, we are able to view your screen.
Okay. All right. Is it full screen, or is it just should I have to do a full screen?
Not yet.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So here are a few data points which I picked up that just as a few samples that you can look at it, like how the job market is evolving now, and falling back into place. And I think it's just going to be business as usual in a couple of months. So if that is so, we need to be really careful about how acute are we. Are we really having the things that what we need to have? Because from an a corporate standpoint, if you look at our company, we couldn't hire a few set of 2020 graduates. For a simple reason behind, because they have still not yet taken up their semester exams, the final semester exams, or the previous, their fifth semester exams, or the exams are still not over. So from a company standpoint, we couldn't afford to give them a 1 week or a 10-day holiday after being employed. So that was not a great sign, actually. We had to decide, like that as a corporate. Because after employment, on a row, if I'm going to give 1 week and 10 days of a holiday to just take up the final semester exams, so that's going to hit the corporate really, so we couldn't decide that. So we had to hire from the previous years, 2018 and 2019, we hired close to 200 plus people in the last couple of months. So that's the way, the whole thing is all about. When we connected with few campuses, they were ready to do that, but probably from a platform standpoint, the campuses or the colleges couldn't connect us. They couldn't play a vital role in connecting the students and the corporate, so which was a challenge for us. So by the time we could solve problems for them, we had to get along with our hiring numbers and move on with the business. So that's how the whole thing changed in our company. And probably the way we travel, that's one of the safest place that what we actually go. So I always used to say, COVID doesn't travel through internet. So get adopted to internet and get adopted to the tools that you work with, get as much as possible, because our entire hiring engine, starting from sourcing, scheduling, interview screening, and document verification, offer release, appointment letter, getting them in, everything is online. Everything is online. In fact, our company is also equipped for colleges to enroll with us, so that the online interviews also can happen. It is just a matter of click, and it can just get into you, and students can start registering. That's the kind of platform which is required at the moment, where the colleges are not now currently having. So which need to be actually looked at. Is my screen still visible? Sorry.
Yes, you are. Yes, Mahesh. We are able to see you.
Okay. So so I just want to read it out as such. Yeah. I don't want to read it out, but that's how it goes. Most of the big players have started to get in, and from a manual standpoint, they've moved into a digital. And these data points are all from well-known, authenticated data which have been there. So the final thing about how are we going to go next? So in fact, the job description for our company, how it changed. It was asking them how, one of the questions which we never used to ask, how efficient are you connected with the internet, and do you have a uninterrupted internet connections? Do you have a tool which can connect? Do you have devices that you can actually help with? These are the questions that start to pop up now. The tools that what we have, is it been okay there? Even if you look at even the school students have got into such kind of things now. So all this are all the basics. Even the schools have their tools to get in. Probably my son studied like that. He can interact with the tool. He can upload his things that he does, and I think that's the need of an hour. So this virtual hiring, and the whole thing is going to come into a platform where the whole thing is going to be virtual. And probably we don't know how long this is going to go, but the whole thing is going to be here. The way we question them is all changed. So so it's the right time that we get adopted to such a technology change, which will help us be there in the race. So this is my experience with my company, and how I have been going through with my organization. And this is a wonderful experience for me as well, to connect with all of you, to have shared my experience, and how our work changed in the last 4-5 months. So that's about it. Over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mahesh. That was, you totally made it, so simple, and you broke it down in such an Indian context. And I'm sure our participants here are benefiting much from what, was shared from you. Thank you very much for that. So now, Eben, I have 2 questions for you, from the participants, the audience. So Eben?
Yep, sure.
2 questions for you.
Sure.
How is Australian universities, or how are the universities in Australia managing this COVID-19 situation in respect to student placement?
At this point of time, they are doing really well. One of the aspects which I was referring to, having a virtual careers. What happens is, when they do this virtual careers, they have an online platform, and they announce a day where any employer can go and participate, where I, as an employer, can look at students, and students can look at me as an employer. and interact. So by doing this, I get to see a lot of students on one particular day, and I can decide to choose whom I want to hire. So that is one way of looking at it. The second one, as an organization, we are more into internship to hire. Because virtual being a new normal, we are doing a lot of synchronous interviews at this point of time. We are again moving towards asynchronous. We have partnered with an organization called as Soul Machines, where using AI, using that technology, probably those are new, where the AI machine can ask questions to the students and pull up the answers, and they can give it to us. So we are moving towards that. So by doing this, we are hiring. So as such, in terms of hiring, the universities have not gone down. Only challenge which I've been seeing is, unfortunately, international students could not travel to Australia because Australia borders are closed. However, whoever the students who are here in Australia, they are doing well. Internships are going really fine. The hiring is going really, really good. And in fact, our organization is doing a lot of interviews for the past 1 week, and we are doing interviews even this week to hire a set of graduates.
Thank you very much. That's really inspiring and encouraging for us as well, to learn, and so that we can incorporate the same. And that question is followed with, how is the job market for freshers there?
How is the job market for freshers? Yep. See, the organizations which I work do a lot of give back to the society, which means we look at locals being hired. And when we say locals being hired, there are two ways. One, hired through lateral hiring, or hired through campus hiring, or we call it as graduate hiring locally in Australia. So for technologies, when they are niche technologies, when I say niche technologies, these are technologies which students cannot learn so easily. And they are not available for students in their curriculum. They are again not so available outside for students to learn. So if they are those niche technologies, very specific, we tend to go for lateral hiring. The second one, in terms of generic hiring. So let me say an example of a tester or a developer in terms of any technologies like Java or .NET or C++ or any other technology. We prefer graduates, that is freshers. So anytime the organization which I work, and again, the organizations which are similar to the organization which I work, always want to hire graduates. Again, one, to give back to the society, and number two, it is very important to hire young minds, which help the organization, again, also to help build them. So at any point of time, at least 50% of our hiring is from campus, that is the graduate, than in terms of lateral hiring.
All right, got it. Thank you. And now, Mahesh, I have a question for you. Indian context again, all right? So what are your plans, or, asking with regard to access to healthcare, and how do you think how the Tier C and Tier D colleges or, graduates can be reached out to? How can they be reached out with regards to job placements, because comparing, the lack of resources and, the awareness. So what would be your thoughts and insights there?
So the simplest way should be, probably corporate, probably they can share their student database with us with certain specific, up to fifth semester, clearance. If they have cleared with certain percentages, we can have that as a cutoff, and still wait for the final semesters to happen. And we can, with the help of those names shared with us, we can directly connect with students and probably, look at for a interview happen for them as well.
All right, got it. And that question is also followed by another question from the participant, Anand. Anand Hariharan's question is this to Mr. Mahesh. What's the time limit for conducting interviews?
Okay. Is there anything added along with this? Sorry?
The platform being online, and what's the time limit you think it should be? Is this question.
See, this is a wonderful thing. Probably let me also share, how we follow in our office. When it is usually, face-to-face interview, which used to happen before April, we have a 45 minutes challenge. And, we have an average time that 45 minutes, within 45 minutes, the person will know whether he's moving forward or not, or he's almost getting an offer or not within just 45 minutes for an entry level interview. All right, for a person to start off with, probably from a 2 lakh to a 5 lakh or a 6 lakh job experience, somebody with that. So it just takes 45 minutes for a person to get to know whether he is going to be offered or not. So it depends on what level this person is going to be. Probably because we are talking about the campus placements. Probably then let me take it as an entry level. So it is just the 2-level interview which will be there. Okay, and it will be less than 30 minutes, and we make it as simple as possible so that the people are also not so with a lot of questions. Predominantly, we look from a stability standpoint rather than, the other things can be trained. But if a person doesn't have the stability, then it goes off. So that's a key question which, actually revolves around. But less than 45 minutes, it gets over.
Got it. Thank you, Mahesh. And Mr. Anand, I hope that's helpful. And that's answer to your question.
Yeah.
Mahesh, there's another question from the same participant. How can soft skills be developed in virtual learning?
Yeah, see, if you look at a few, Versant, if you have something, Versant, if somebody has known about Versant, it's completely a, soft skill and an English speaking skill tool, which has been there, prevailed across the entire globe. So even, British Council, does the screening through online, and they do the whole thing there. So the entire thing has been evaluated there. So it is not something going to be impossible. But now, having said that, here the quickest way is to we get it connected with the video call, and our VNA, which is voice and accent trainer, connects with them to see how they speak, the rate of the speed at which they speak, what is the clarity of words they speak. So are they able to understand the question and speak? We play audio, and they hear about the audio. So which is because we support US customers, so we play an audio of 2-3 minutes of it, and the questions will revolve around it. So if a person doesn't understand that audio, so it's going to be difficult. So that's how it happens with from a soft skills standpoint. Yeah.
Thank you, Mahesh, again. And Mr. Anand, I hope that's helpful again and answers to your question. Thank you. Do we have more questions for our guests? Gentlemen, I think we have questions lining up for you.
Yep. Please.
This is from Mr. Shankar Sundaram. All right, just hang on a second. All right, there is a question from one of the participants. All right. Can you describe on this whole interview process? Also having COVID-19, he wants it to be broken further down. That's how he's expecting the answer to be. COVID-19, how interview process can be conducted, having all the, situation happening.
Can you tell the participant's name, please?
Soft skills is his name. He's a...
All right, okay. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, anyway, so, dear participant, that's from an interview process standpoint, nothing is going to be, lessened, or nothing is going to be increased. It is the same for what job, what levels of interviews are required, that's going to be happening. Okay, because it is COVID, something is not going to increase, something is not going to decrease. It is just the communicating medium. Okay, we are not going to sit in person and do that. It is just going to be here. So, and the whole, the data points that what we collect during the interview, while it is manual, when it is face to face, that's going to happen online. Sometimes, to reduce the online connectivity or the online time, there are a lot of data that we collect even before the online interview or a virtual interview is going to start off. So from a COVID standpoint, interview process has not changed at all. It is the same. It is just the same. If it is changing, it has to be for a betterment, but not to relax anything.
Got it. Thanks for clarifying that, Mahesh.
Yeah.
Now, this question I would like to, request the both of you, Eben and Mahesh, to, share your thoughts. So this is how this whole question is. Since we have our participants, it's all placement offices, right? Most of the participants here. So how effective, should a placement officer's contribution be, having all the situation in mind, and, what should the placement officer focus more and be equipped more with in terms of, approach and strategies? So Eben, I would like to, begin with you.
I thought I will pick the cue from Mahesh and I will probably answer.
Okay. All right. Okay. You want me to do that? I'll do that. Okay.
All right. So be it then. All right. Over to you, Mahesh.
Yeah. So as we answered the previous question for the gentleman, the participant about the interview process. So likewise, the placement process as well hasn't changed. Okay, it's just going to be the same pattern. We're going to do it, but it is just the medium that's going to be changed. So from a placement officer standpoint or from a college standpoint, you have to be really acute. How well are you, displaying your students' skill or the scores that they've already scored, and how are they available? When are they available? Which department? All this. Most of the college sites doesn't have this, or it just comes in an Excel sheet. Okay, so if that's going to be very interactive with the students, where they put up some key important things, like I'm interested on electrical engineering, I'm interested on healthcare, I'm interested on whatever function or industry they would want to actually specialize on. They can actually there should be some initial write-up which has been initiated by the college, where there can be display of individual student. I am so and so, I have performed this is what is me. So even before I meet a student, this has to be available for a corporate. So once that is available for a corporate, I think the mileage for the college is much faster than anything. Yeah, that's my comment on what a placement officer should be or a college should be. Yeah, Eben, you can take.
Yep, thanks, Mahesh. That gives some time for me to mentally prepare myself.
Okay.
Okay, so if I'm a placement officer, I would probably look at whom I'm interacting with and what is that I'm looking at. That means the customer. The customer is one would be the students, and next would be the organization. And what organization requires and what the student requires would be the priority in which I would probably look at. So which means if I'm an organization, if I need to hire, let's say 100 students, what would the organization require and the speed in which they require and the medium in which it is easy for the organization to get. So these are the things which, as an organization, if I'm working in an organization, if I have to hire 100 people, and which college and which type of students would be easily accessible for me. And again, top talent. How do I identify top talent? The universities should probably have a mechanism in which they project these are the set of students who have done, for example, if I'm a technology company, they've done these certifications, these trainings. So what I do as an organization, when I want 100 students and about 50 colleges trying to project their students, I will look at what I want. And if the college could give the information as fast as possible, as reliable as possible, and ease of use for me, I would probably look at those colleges and would want to interact with them and hire. On the other hand, in terms of students, they have to be really prepared. So which means they need to get a communication of what the organizations are looking at. And with virtual being the situation, and some of the students probably might be relaxed a bit comparatively, but it is very important to have the hunger in them, because when this gets over or when this postpones for some more time, it is very important for the students to be on top of it. When it opens up or when it is opening up now or later, they have to be really prepared. So if I'm a placement officer, I need to make sure that my college and my students are marketed really well at the right platform, right time, with right reliable information for an organization to look at. And again, I picked the cue from what Mahesh has said.
Great. Thank you so very much. I think both, responses are very supportive, and that very well answers to, to all the questions, all the questions that all the placement officers should be having in their mind right now. So the question, thank you. First of all, thank you to the participant who posed this question, and to the both of you, because this is giving us, and giving us the cue to introduce MyOS IN2S, and that's exactly, why MyOS found its birth, as a solution to this very question, how to be equipped, for all the stakeholders, be it, students, college, and corporates. So we will now have the promo of a MyOS in for you all. Right, ladies and gentlemen, let me remind you, this exclusive webinar for training and placement officers, on campus placements during COVID-19 is proudly presented and jointly presented by Nazrud College of Arts and Science and MyOS in. Krista, you've been constantly talking about MyOS and, showing us promos on MyOS. What is MyOS? Yes, getting right into it. TeachSub Techno Solutions Private Limited, a Chennai-based startup, launches My Online Status, MyOS in, a powerful online career connect. MyOS is a SaaS-based IT solution that connects three stakeholders: students, colleges, recruiters, with one solution. Three stakeholders, one solution. How awesome is that? My Online Status provides an online platform to support the student community with a solution that opens students' career options, connects colleges, and increases placements. This online platform supports the student community to build profile, enhance their profile with various unlimited aptitude tests, creates resumes, and it helps to get trained in job-oriented courses and other certifications, all of which will equip them to sit for placements and be very well, prepared for placements and to face interviews and crack it successfully. The corporates can access the student database and do remote placement drives, like, very precisely shared by both our guest speakers for today. So, what is the college stakeholder taking away and what are the benefits here? The colleges are provided value-added benefits such as exclusive academic connect feeds, create group and connect with other groups, bring alumni as mentors, conduct class through webinars, conduct different ways classes through webinars on various topics, track students profiling, connect with recruiters across, support corporates in placement drives. All right, now My Online Status in.com. Is it safe, Krista? Absolutely. Super secure. It has rich features. It is terrifically simple, very quick, and always available on the go. Now, how does this whole thing work? Simple. 3 packages. Pilot, a 7-day trial that the students can take and the colleges can sign up for. From there, you can progress to Plus and then to the Silver package, just $79 a month. That's about it. How exciting and awesome is that? So now, please. Now, to all the placement officers and to the principals, I have an exciting news to share. My OSN would like to offer 3-month free subscription. All right. So when you sign up for a trial, a trial package, your pilot package will be converted to Silver package, and this is available for the first 25 subscriptions. For the first 25 subscribers, and for the first 3 months, the entire Silver package is available for free of cost. And this is how this slide helps you with the packages. Interesting? Are we talking now? Great. So yes, you want to reach out to us? Don't worry, you have the numbers showing up there. Call us from 9 to 6 p.m. Indian Standard Time, and our office numbers are right up there: 893959477, and you can also reach on 8939595777. You want to have a cup of coffee with us and share your thoughts? Please do visit us in our corporate office platform, and then you want to say hello, drop in your email to info@myonlinestatus.com. Great. And I hope this time the promo had full volume and you were able to listen to the promo loud enough. Thank you so much to all the participants for joining us, today for this exclusive webinar. It certainly is a big initiative, and we were in fact very much looking forward to this day and to this webinar and we had a lot to take away. And before we could wrap, we still have questions coming up. All right, there's a question from Ananta Hariharan again. How to overcome? All right, can I have the guest's video up, please? Yes, I have questions for you. Great, thank you. So from Ananta Hariharan, how to overcome aptitude skills, which I believe is a difficult process in imparting in online education. Eben, and I would like to begin, with you, followed by Mahesh's thoughts on the same.
Okay, sure, no problem. So with respect to Australia, I think in comparison to India, we do not have that many number of online or the aptitude which tend to happen. Here, predominantly, it is more in terms of psychometric and interviews, which tend to happen apart from the courses or the interactions which we have with the students. But if I have to give in the context of India, with the little experience which I had when I was working back in India, and specifically in the space of campus placements, it would be more of training. Things cannot happen overnight, let it be a soft skill or let it be aptitude. It has to be given due concentration and target. If somebody wants to achieve something, and there has to be a target which they need to have, and they have to move towards it. Let it be universities or the students themselves. If they want to clear in terms of aptitude, or if they wanted to clear in terms of soft skills, they need to have an attitude to more of first learn and have the bar, have the goal, and look at the goal and achieve. And people can fail. It is okay to fail. And even as organizations, we are okay for students to fail. Once they join also, we are happy to train them up. We are happy for them to try, fail, try, fail, try, fail. We are absolutely okay. And that is the same attitude which we want the students to have. They need to have a goal. There is no shortcut to it. Overnight, it cannot change. But having a goal, looking towards it, trying it will always help, both in soft skills and also aptitude.
Great. So Mahesh, yeah, thank you, Evan.
Yeah, so probably, dear, I don't know if that question was a student. Probably that question should have been directed to the professor. How do I prepare for my aptitude test? Okay, but having said that, it is, as Evan said, you got to be willing to learn. You got to keep practicing. It's predominantly into mathematics and, from grammar and, a few things like that around. So I think mostly into the mathematics side. So if you are going to be really good at that, keep practicing. There are a lot of things available online, and that should help.
And I think here is where placement officers can also play a huge role. They can always interact with a set of or the departments and have a goal for themselves and work towards it, as a department and placement office.
Precisely said. And thank you both. And dear participant, I would also like to mention My OSIN offers unlimited aptitude test practice for, students with the same, query and pressure. All right, great. And we also have a few more questions for. Okay. All right. From one of the participants, with recruitment going on due to COVID-19 to reduce cost, do you think placement will happen? How would you like to answer to this question, Mahesh?
So, no, can you just repeat the question, because I want to know who wants to reduce the cost. Is it the college or is it the company?
Yes, it's for the college. With recruitment going on due to COVID-19 to reduce cost, do you think placement will happen?
Oh, like that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
From college.
See, when it comes for a fresh intake, definitely companies, have a different perspective altogether. Whenever there is a, cost cutting happening in a corporate, it's always, long, old people and, very recently joined, those kind of things only will happen. But from a cost cutting standpoint, that's always there. It doesn't, as when I was, giving my, thought during the session, I was telling, people, some corporates have utilized this, for few of their cost cutting activities as well. Because they cannot, otherwise get out of this, good attritions. So if that good attrition is not happening, now and then, the company will still have to go with that lame horse every time. So that cannot be called as cost cutting. That happens with any corporate. Okay, so the corporate will always want to go as fast as possible and as ahead of the market. So definitely they are ready to invest, and cost cutting is an internal thing, so that will just not affect the market in any way.
Thank you, Mahesh. There's another question. How wide the opportunities are going to be after this pandemic in your anticipation, especially for arts and science candidates? Mahesh, over to you.
So if you look at the current scenario, most of them, are not actually starting off with a new job at all. So wherever I hear from, still the opening is not clear. They've not given me an offer. There are so many things. Okay, but the general difficulty that they experience is that when it is a new, fresh candidate who's coming in, the challenges is again on the how do I train this person virtually. Okay, so that's the key thing that for a fresher or an entry level person to get into a job. But having said that, my example could be, when there is a, maybe in a ball pen, when a pressing pen. Okay, I have it with me. You have a pen like this, you have a spring inside. That spring, you press, keep pressing it, this much, and you release it, it gets back to the highest speed it gets back. So that's how the recruitment or the hiring for the entry level will bounce back that much. If all this are not happening, it doesn't mean the corporates or the companies do not have job or do not have contracts. It is just that they don't know how to, or at this moment they don't want to get the whole thing burdened up, except for the existing clients to be satisfied. Yeah, so it will bounce back very, very, very sharp, and it will have a very high graph, which will just be very steep for people to actually get it. So you will have the entire thing. In fact, if you look at the job portals as such, those are the guys who actually split across. There is a special thing for for people to actually apply during this COVID as well. So it will definitely bounce back. It will be having a very sharp curve when it comes to an analysis. Yeah, we couldn't hear you.
Am I audible enough? Thank you. That was reassuring, and I'm sure, participant, that was helpful for you. Great. There's another question. All right. Am I audible? Due to COVID-19, whether companies will come for campus drive or they will conduct interview in online process for the students, only on online process for the students. Is there a possibility there?
Yeah, of course, it's going to be online only. So if people are going to be there, I think, usually when it is, campus drives in any college, it is always a festival. Okay, there's a lot of thousands of students around. So I think that's not going to happen now. So it'll be definitely through online.
Got it. Thank you, Mahesh. And I would also like to add on, dear participant, to your question, this is exactly where MyOS is going to pitch in and, bridge the gap, where we are going to tie up with various, recruiters and help smooth transition and help, this placement happen for you all. Right. Is there another question? About the MyOS platform. All right, there's a question to MyOS, platform. Psychology-based tests is it available in the platform? Very well. Personality-based and a lot of other. Yes, we have tests for the same. Dear participant, I hope that answers your question. Do we have some more questions? Yeah, we have 3 more questions. I think. Sorry. Okay. Do you think that communication skills can be imparted through online? Eben, would you like to?
Very much, Eucharista.
Yeah.
Only difference in terms of online and face-to-face is it is just that the feel of not being in the same room or not having the same environment. With respect to being virtual, I think now not just that presence. I think there will be a lot of ideas in which a student or an individual can have, which can actually improve. And on a long shot, with respect to the environment which any student or anybody in the organization have, they have to interact with a lot of individuals from varied platforms, varied backgrounds. So it does require, which in turn helps in terms of improving the communication. By this, I also again go back to the same answer which I gave some time before. It is very important for somebody to think and aim and target and more of work towards it. If that is not there, whatever they do probably might not help them on a longer run, might just help at that point of time.
Thank you, Eben. I think we are exceeding, the time limit for this webinar. So we did have quite, questions with a lot of concerns, like, how it is going to support and how it is going to, really help and scale up. And your answers, both your answers, reassured a lot of, and did give a, help them. It certainly gave them clarity, that nothing is going to affect nothing, there's not going to big time, consequences or effects. In fact, it is going to widen the opportunities more and more. So, and participants, let me also remind you that MyOS is very well in, and it's going to bridge the same for all of you. On that note, I would also like to remind the participants and also let know that we will send you a thank you note to the registered email ID in a day, and you can download your e-certificate from the link that's provided. And then, so once again, thank you so very much, dear guests, for being with us today, for joining, with us today. Thank you for, giving us our schedule and helping, MyOS and the participants here to understand on a lot of, aspects on how we can improve, how we can, address the ongoing challenges and issues, and then, definitely help the student community with placements and the, colleges and also the companies. Thank you so very much, Mr. Magesh, and thank you so much, Eben. Once again, thank you so much, dear principals, placement officers, and all those who have participated and joined us in this webinar today. Thank you so very much. We had a great time interacting with you. Looking forward to seeing you in another exclusive webinar like this very soon. Until then, take care, be safe, stay home. Yeah, let's reconnect. Thank you very much.